Welcome to this edition of the Yahowah blog. We're going to continue our celebration of Sukah, and that we are in the opening days of an 8-day celebration of camping out with Yahowah. But in this edition, we have a special guest, because one of the very few individuals that's ever taken the opportunity actually to canvass the nation from sea to shining sea, meeting with many people who are covenant and others who claim to be covenant, getting a feel for what it's like as this family and those who have tried to hack it are spread all across the nation. And so the man of whom I speak is known to many of you, but let me ask him. So for the record, sir, what is your name?
Patrick Shannon Leroy. And I go by Shannon.
And Shannon, how long have you known Yahowah?
8 years. And
how did you meet?
I met Yahowah through a man named Yada. It was on Coast to Coast with George Norrie. And I heard him speak. And when I got home, I looked it up, and I have been on this journey ever since. I've been reading translations and developing my relationship with Yahowah, and it's just been a wonderful journey.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned George Norrie. The reason I ended up doing George Norrie's show, and it should be stated for the record for those who are listening here, that there were a number of years where George Norrie's Coast to Coast show was the #1 listened to show, the largest audience of any radio show in the world. It had more listeners than Rush Limbaugh. It was a show that aired live from, I think, midnight, 3 o'clock. It wasn't that time when he broadcasted on the West Coast, but for those on the East Coast, those were the hours of the show. It was always a 3-hour show. I was unique to be on the George Norrie show because George Norrie liked to do shows on conspiratorial things. He wanted to talk about extraterrestrials and all sorts of phenomenon that was interesting to a lot of different people. I did not do George Norrie's show because of George Norrie, though. The man who had started that show, Art Bell, who became a legend in radio, one of the great pioneers in talk radio. Art Bell was among the first Americans who had one of these, a microphone. Back in the day when talk radio was the rage, was among the first to recognize that the war in Afghanistan and Iraq were counterproductive. Because in America, if you speak against a war that your nation is committed to, you're considered to be a traitor, no matter how misconstrued that war might be. You know, for example, the Gulf of Tonkin incident never occurred, and yet we fought a horrible war in Vietnam, and we lost almost 60,000 Americans because of a lie. And making a bad situation worse. And I personally knew George W. Bush. He told me that he was going to declare war in Afghanistan and Iraq. And he did that very thing because he wanted to be a wartime president, because he thought being a wartime president would give him more authority and power. And so I knew exactly what he was going to do. And he did it. And at that time is when I met Yahowah. About a week after 9/11 is when I met him, Shannon. And our first job together was to expose Islam. And so that began with a meeting with al-Qaeda right after 9/11, Hamas, Hezbollah, and Islamic Jihad. And I wrote a book called Tea with Terrorists about it, and then later Prophet of Doom, which is now Goddamn Religion. And as a result of that and of my agreement with Yahowah, which was I'll do the work so long as you assist me every step of the way and you protect my home and family, because no one has ever survived what you're asking me to do in exposing Islam. And oh, by the way, I'm good at one thing. I'm a good marketer. I know how to sell things. And therefore, just to demonstrate that we're not relying on my strengths, but instead on yours, you're going to take over the responsibility of promoting this program, of whatever we learn. Mm-hmm. And I was in a unique position. I realized it was Yahowah. I didn't know his name at the time, but God speaking to me. And I figured that since he seemed open to negotiation, those were my terms. Mm-hmm. And his response was, reach in your pocket and you'll find my answer.
Mizmor 91.
Mizmor 91. The 91st Psalm. And so we began on that day. And being on the George Norrie show after I did Art Bell's show, prior to that, Art Bell called me up personally, and he said, I want to do a show as to why we should not be in Afghanistan and Iraq. I've canvassed the world, and I've only found one person who can articulate why we shouldn't be there. That's you. Will you be willing to do this show with me? We'll do all 3 hours, which he had never, I don't think, previously given 3 hours to a single guest. We did 3 hours. And then I did 2 shows with George Norrie, 3 hours apiece, 9 hours on coast to coast. I still don't think it's ever happened previously. And we discussed why the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq would turn out badly, why America was making a bad situation worse. But I never did a show like this without also explaining that there was a better answer. And I explained that better answer during those shows. And that's what you responded to, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's amazing that at a time where being booked on a talk radio show of any consequence was about a $5,000 to $10,000 fee, that I was booked on upwards of 10,000 of them for nothing. I want to talk about God doing something that he said he would do. Yes. It's pretty amazing. And in all of that time, I received many thousands of death threats. I'm sitting here in my flaps and my shorts. You don't see any guns. You've never seen me duck, have you?
Nope.
With all of those death threats, not a single shot. God said he would protect me.
And he did.
Evidence for certain, because there is no clearer condemnation of Islam than was Prophet of Doom and now goddamn religion. And so now here we are. So, Shannon, you listened to a show, George Norrie program. Yeah. And it was unique enough that it caused you to say, I think I need to learn more about this. So what did you do?
Well, I got home. I did exterminating at night. I did restaurants. Mm-hmm. And so I had keys and codes. I would go in. So it was late night. And so I was coming home late. And when I heard the show and heard you. So when I got home, I was anxious. I pulled up the Coast to Coast site, found you, went on to your site. And that's when I started reading and haven't stopped since.
So if it were not for my good friend who is now developing the new interactive Yahowah site, Joe Page, okay, you would not have found Yahowah, would you?
No. So
Joe did something that was really extraordinary, has long-lasting value.
Right.
And so you decided that the smart thing to do was to check up on this. You see, because this sounds a lot like about 500-600 people that I've heard from in the past that heard me on one of these radio shows and decided they would validate whether or not that was true, because there were parts of it that resonated with you, I'm assuming, and there's parts of it that said, wow, is that possible that could actually be true? Because what I was saying was so contrary to what was being articulated politically and religiously.
Yes.
So is there any possibility that somebody could speak with such confidence and yet be completely opposed to political and religious rhetoric? Was that basically what you were thinking?
Yeah, I did a lot of verification, and I'm like, I need to check this. Is this? And then every time I did, it was like, okay, this is true, and that's why I just dived into it and developed my relationship with Yahowah through the translations. And
I think you told me the other night, and we met for the first time at about 5 o'clock yesterday, correct?
right.
Had we ever talked on the phone prior to that?
No, sir.
Had we ever? I don't even know if we'd ever exchanged an email, had we?
No, other than maybe the Korah coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even sure that was by email. I think that was actually to your
Facebook.
Your Facebook.
Yeah.
So we exchanged a few public Facebook discussions.
Nothing outside of public.
But I don't think we've ever had a conversation prior to that.
No, we haven't.
And yet we've been friends for 10 years.
Yes. 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
8 years. Wow. In the extermination business, that stuff work on Magas and Muslims and Marxists and
I've been trying
I've
been trying to make a formula for that, but I can't.
Yeah, we're not. As everyone who has listened to this program knows, we are completely nonviolent.
Right.
We have
Words.
We are going to use our words
Yes.
only.
Yes.
But if words could silence this deadly drumbeat of the Marxists, of the Magas, and of the Muslims, that would be a very good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So you, I think it expressed to me that if you weren't eating, sleeping, or working, you were reading.
Yes. I wanted it.
Yeah. You had the want to.
Yes, sir.
You're very much then like Leah was when she first stumbled upon what we were doing. In fact, in Leah's case, it wasn't a show because she was living someplace in these islands, I think, at the time. And her thing was she was in the midst of a dream. She was saying, who is this rotten woman that she was reading as she began to read from Bereshith on through the prophets? There was a bad woman and there was a good woman. Who in the world were they? And what she heard in her head was, go ask Ruth. And she then Googled a search, and the first place she came was the Yahowah site. And she too became as she explains it, she says, I went the next 3 days where I says, I don't know if I ate. I most certainly didn't take a bath. I didn't do anything but read.
Right.
I read 3 straight days. I could not imagine that anything could be this powerful,
Right.
this informative, this enlightening. Now, for the first time, I was being exposed to the truth. You know, what's interesting about her deal is that the search that brought her here is so funny now in retrospect, is that I was the first person to identify the ruach as a feminine noun and said, therefore, Yahowah, while he presents himself entirely as our father and never as our mother, and while he always uses masculine singular pronouns in every verb associated with him, therefore he is he when addressing himself. The fact that ruach is a feminine noun would indicate that there are probably both masculine and feminine characteristics in the personality of Yahowah.
Yes.
Yeah. When it's funny because as this rebellious mother goddess cult came up, their charge against me was that I had not addressed the feminine aspects of God. And at the time, I had gone further and said more about that than not only anybody previously, but probably more than everybody combined previously. It's exactly the opposite of their claim.
Right.
And then, of course, as you know, they cited the 8th Mashal proverb as proof that they were speaking for the spiritual mother of God, spiritual mother. And you've probably done some research. Is the word for mother M? in Hebrew ever mentioned in that
No.
Mizmor? How about the word for spirit, ruach?
No.
So it doesn't speak of a spiritual mom.
No.
So they were lying. Interesting that would occur. So you came to know Yahowah. What did your family and friends think of all of that?
Well, after the first night,
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited,
Mm-hmm.
and went to talk to my son,
Mm-hmm.
Patrick,
Mm-hmm.
and of course he Christianity his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I presented it to him and explained that God had a name and it was Yahweh,
Mm-hmm.
he told me, "Dad, you sound like a Muslim." And so
Hey, just 1 second.
Okay.
Would you mind switching his picture-in-picture to the opposite side? So when I'm actually looking at him, it looks like I'm looking at him, not away from him, because it looks rude if I'm looking away from him in the video, when in fact I'm looking right at you.
Yes.
It's just that he has you on the guest side as opposed to when Leah co-hosts and she's sitting in that chair, she's on the other side. So now when I'm looking at you, it shows up on the video that I'm looking at you. So excuse me. Okay, so your son had a kind of a snippy response.
Yes, he did, and so I did not push it. I continued to study. Him and my daughter both knew that's what I did, and it was maybe a month later. He come into my room and he was wanting something, and I said, "Son, let me show you something." And so I started showing him, and he was like, "Wow, Dad." I said, "Yes, I know, son." And so he started being an advocate for Yahowah with his friends, would actually go to the site with his friends and was showing them. And so I'm pretty happy about that.
Makes you really proud, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that could cause a man to feel more satisfaction in life than to have his son come to share a love for Yahowah.
Yes.
So he how old was he?
He was 17 years old. Well, he was 16 at the time, but 17 when the tragedy happened.
Tell us about the tragedy.
Well, it was I actually if I can tell you what happened with my brother first.
Please.
I was a year and a half into it, and I hadn't talked with many people as a subject that you just don't, hey, and so other than speaking to my son's friends, I decided to talk to my brother, and I stopped to speak with my brother, and my brother told me I was out there, and it was his faith in the Lord Jesus Christ that saved him. And anyway, that was the last time I spoke to my brother, because maybe a month later, he died of a heart attack on August 5th, 2018. And 6 days after that, I lost my son to a drive-by shooting in my home. And
inside of your home?
It was inside of my home. And I was actually on the phone with my mom, consoling her over what had happened to my brother. And one of his friends ran to my room and said, "Patrick's been shot." And so I ran out and put him in my truck, and he died in my arms on the way to the hospital. And the bullet had actually, just one bullet made it into the whole house. It hit my barn, trees, everything else. One shot made it in, hit him in his right hip, and it went up inside of him. And so he bled out internally. And so I lost my son that evening. And it was a turning point for me because I had to make some major decisions. I knew a preacher was not going to speak over my son, and I knew it was not going to be in a church. And so I decided to speak over my son in a funeral home. And I was able to proclaim Yahweh's name. And
And you have the satisfaction of knowing that he embraced Yahowah.
Yes.
And he went the next step. He was then sharing Yahowah with his friends.
Yes.
And it was at that moment that his life ended, which means that he ended his life not only having accepted Yahowah, but having been active in sharing Yahowah.
Yes.
And you went on, rather than saying this tragedy is going to ruin me, that this tragedy is something that I'm going to honor my son's life by continuing to share as he would have shared.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is 17 is under 20. The only time we're actually told by Yahowah that a group of people are going to be spared from death and given another opportunity is the episode of the spies.
Yes.
When Yahowah said, all of you who are over 20, you're dead except 2 men. And all of you who are under 20, he says, I'm going to, and he begins then the 15th chapter of Numbers, where he said, this is the plan. This is the way that I'm going to provide an opportunity for you to enter the promised land. It's one of the most powerful prophecies ever written. I don't think anyone's appreciated it previously, but that is the story. And so your son, at being under 20, of a father who was committed to Yahowah and to the covenant, and who had made a decision for Yahowah and was sharing with his friends, you will absolutely enjoy the embrace of your son again. Yeah, he's still there with you now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things that strikes me of that story, Shannon, is not only the courage that it takes to overcome that, but the realization that life is filled with very difficult challenges for all of us. We know, for example, of the challenge that Moshe felt. Imagine telling God, I just want you to kill me. These people are that impossible. This job cannot be done if you have any compassion for me at all. Rather than having me see this failure, you just kill me. Right. And you see Dode weeping over the betrayal of his son when the entire nation turned against him. Life is full of challenges. It's what we do with them. Hezekiah, when he had that brief moment of sanity, he had 185,000 of the most ruthless Syrians, militants in the world outside and surrounding Jerusalem. It's a whole lot more than the 4,000 crazed Muslims in sneakers and flaps and garden utensils that waltzed into Israel. Right. It wasn't 4,000, it was 185,000. They were armed and disciplined and trained to the hilt. And he overcame them by a reliance on Yahowah, turning away from religion and accepting the value of Pesach, Matzah, and Bikurim. Yes. So life is hard. And we all go through challenges. We were talking about the challenges that we're facing now, and the fact that if Moshe endured them, if Dode endured them, then it's for certain we're going to endure them. And we are. But they make us more confident, more resolute. So after that, what happened in your life that brings us together at this wonderful celebration of Sukah?
Well, I everything that I've done from that point, I just trying to draw people to the site that I went to, and I realized that I thought I was going to change the world to start with, because it's so beautiful. Yes. And it makes so much sense.
Yes.
And I'm like, everybody's going to listen to me. Yeah. But
the real God is so wonderful.
Yes.
He's so bright.
He
and
wants to
fun
be a dad.
He's offering you everything you could imagine that is wonderful. Yes. He's asking very little of you, and what he's asked is all in your interest.
Right.
And it all makes sense. And he said it so clearly. Why in the world isn't everybody want to accept this?
Right.
And what you found out is almost no one does.
Yes. It's very few
We just got a tissue. Yes, I had a tear in my right eye. I'm not ashamed to say that's the case. I'll wear it. I'll wear it proudly. Yeah, there's our journey to Yahowah is over 90% cerebral. There is an emotional element to it as well. I think that Yahowah has a type. Obviously, when you look through it, we talked about this yesterday. He prefers very cerebral men, but he does entertain emotional men as well, particularly if it's buttressed with thought. We know that those who carried the torch before us,
right,
blended these two things together.
And the leb, the
leb, which is heart in Hebrew, doesn't mean emotion.
Right.
It speaks of being judgmental. The liver was the seat of emotion in the ancient world, and so God is saying, "I want you to be judgmental. I want you to be thoughtful. I want you to make a good decision regarding me." So you continue to learn. You continue to share. You shared with me a card that you like to hand out, and that card, what is it a citation of?
Hosea 4:6.
And what does Hosea say in 4:6?
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because they have rejected knowledge. Not they rejected faith,
Right?
Or they're it's not a lack of faith; it's knowledge. To know. And so I thought that was very key in maybe drawing people to your side. So,
because we're offering yada,
knowing.
And the interesting thing is, it's so appropriate today. Israel is celebrating the great betrayer as if he were a Messiah. Donald Trump capitulated to the Muslims. Hamas remains in power in Gaza. They stay armed in Gaza. Israel withdraws from Gaza, and Israel trades 20 living hostages for 7 million that they will lose as a result of this deal with the devil. And it is the ignorance of Islam that causes Israel to be destroyed. If you don't know your enemy, if you lash out at a symptom of them, if you don't know Yahowah, if you don't know whom to rely upon, you will be destroyed, and Israel will be destroyed over these next 8 years. There'll be a tiny remnant left, no nation left,
right?
Just a very tiny remnant left 8 years from now.
Yes.
And of course, the rest of the world is going to go through hell as well. And again, for a singular reason, they just don't know. And the more we try to share the truth, the more we are rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And the rejection doesn't always come from outside. It's not always from the overtly religious or they're overtly political. It's not just from Muslims and from Christians or from MAGA or from Marxists.
Right.
It is from those who were exposed to the truth and chose to turn against it.
Yes.
Which is interesting in and of itself. So you printed up shirts like the one that you're wearing now, which is to radiate Yahowah's light.
Yes.
It shows Yahowah's name in the original Paleo Hebrew, the hand reaching down and out to us, the two people standing up, reaching up to God on either side of the wah, which not only makes the O sound in Yahowah's name, but secures the family.
Right.
As a tent peg would secure
right.
a large tent as a covering, correct?
Yes.
What is the basis of the word Sukah for shelters?
What's the basis of it?
Yeah, the basis of it. If you were to look at its actionable root, which is Sukah, what Sakak? What does it mean?
Does it camp out?
To camp out, it means to be covered.
To be covered. Okay.
What does Gan mean? When you go to its actionable root, Gana, as in Gan Eden, the garden. What does it mean?
I'm not sure.
It means to be covered.
To be covered. Okay.
And what does that tent peg do as it relates to the tent?
It's
secures it, enlarges it, and allows those inside to be covered by it.
Okay. Yes.
So that means those two people are benefiting from being under that tent.
Right.
And that's indeed what it conveys.
Yeah.
So about a year ago, you more or less, you decided that you were going to do a tour of the country. What prompted that tour?
It had gotten warm. It was actually in June. I had actually wanted to do it back in 21. I wanted to travel and just share Yah. But then I realized most people are not going to listen. I was going to go just inadvertently anywhere. And then I'm like, that just, And so I ended up actually built a little cabin in the mountains and spent my time there and just building stuff. And I basically finished. And in June, we had started this. So I had been talking with people and through Facebook and meeting people. And so many people have so many nice posts and they're so articulate with their, and I'm just not very good at that.
Well, actually, you were exposed to Facebook because of your son, because your son was communicating via Facebook.
Yes, sir.
And your son's friends communicated through Facebook. So you picked up Facebook because of your son.
Yes.
Correct?
I had not done Facebook until I lost my son. His friends and my friends, I picked up about 200 people that were friends with me on Facebook, and I was able to share Yah through Facebook and
kind of in a viral outreach through them and those posts. Now you have over 4,000, don't you?
Yes, and most of them Yahoo'd. I have about 4,200 Yahoo'd on Facebook now who gets to see your posts. Yeah. And that's my objective.
Yeah, mostly Yehudim and Israelites.
Yes.
About 80%.
Yes, about 80%.
Oh, obviously Yahweh has a type and you're his type and he's working through you in this manner.
Well, I love him.
Yeah. And so you began this trip, and tell me about some of the people you met along the way.
It's just, it's really been awesome. Probably the most awesome thing is that for 8 years, whenever I spoke of Yahweh, I'm explaining Yahweh.
Right.
Okay. And right to start with, I met with Chris Cook, and he said he was an introvert, but he talked to me just like, out of the gate, and it was awesome. Loved it. And great guy. And then my next trip was to Mr. Kevin McCarr. Backwoods.
Now, Mr. Kevin, he's a piece of work.
We went solid 10 hours.
He's a man's man.
We didn't let up. 10 hours, just straight time. There was no time involved. It was just like 10 hours straight. We never stopped talking.
Wow.
And
that's exactly as I would have imagined.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin's awesome.
He has become a rock, a absolute foundation. He is a great gift from Yahweh.
Highly intelligent.
So he was one of your very favorite people. Just instant connection, because he's no BS man. You know where he stands with Yahweh, where he stands, and he knows his material, man. You can get into depth with him. He knows his material.
Yes, he does. And when I went 8 years explaining Yahweh, and now I'm talking with people who are like-minded, it was just wonderful.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
I'm just like, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when Yahweh asked me to do this blog, and I'd be talking to people that I really didn't know. That was one thing. And so I really, really missed the time that we had together when we were doing the translations and the insights that could be derived from the translations. And so I went back to spending about a quarter of my day doing that, just because you kind of got to go back to the source. And my source is Yahweh through his prophets, and you got to plug into that occasionally.
Right.
All right. So 2 for 2, you had 2 really, really outstanding meetings, and one of them was probably among the most reassuring things you could ever have done.
Yes.
Kevin is that kind of guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that actually helped with people seeing what he posted, what Chris posted, to like, okay, Shannon's not a
You know what's
master.
interesting? I don't ever think I saw, did I, any of your posts with Kevin?
No, he posted
Okay.
a picture. I think they did it on, he might have did it on Chris's site. So anyway, it was great. But when people saw the post, people were like, well, can you come see me? Can you come? And so,
yeah, that happens to be my single, if I have a regret, because I get to tell Rich every day, because he's here every day, I appreciate what he is doing. So I get to thank him every day for his contribution. Leah actually talks to Kevin more than I talk to Kevin, and as does Rich. And so I just get to see and talk to Kevin in between at the end and beginning of their conversations, where Kevin is very much like Elia. He is sarcastic. And so I like sarcasm.
yes.
But I don't get to express my appreciation for what he has meant to us over these last 10 months. He is just an extraordinary contributor. Can you imagine doing this without Kevin's support, Rich? No. I mean, he is really rock solid.
Yep.
Yes.
And he has been literally a godsend for Leah.
Yes, he's taken a lot of burden off her.
Yes, he has, and done a lot to protect her. So anyway, you went to a very special place.
Yes.
I didn't know Kevin from Adam prior to this whole thing blowing up in December, and he and Rich and Charles were the three that just came out of the woodwork and say, okay, we're here. We don't even need to know what you want or what you need. We'll figure it out, and you can rely on us. And it was transformative.
Yeah.
It was just extraordinary. So anyway, I'm sorry to go out.
No, that's
it's your
fine.
story, and here I'm talking about Kevin.
No.
But yeah, that was your impression of Kevin as well.
I want to add something about Kevin.
Yes.
He's backwoods.
Yes, he is.
The GPS carried me almost to the road he lived on.
Yes.
And I knew it couldn't have been the road. So I had to drive back another 5 miles to get signal to call him. Okay. and so he came and met me. And so I came back down, and he was right there close to where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, pull down there by the church. There's an old church. And I pulled up in there, and he pulled in beside me. And we got out, hugged, whatever. And I said, Kevin, this is not a good way to start our relationship. Meeting at a church. But anyway, it was just, it was fun. Very nice.
Oh yeah. He definitely has a sense of humor. So after Kevin, it had to be all downhill. Even coming here has to be a disappointment after Kevin. But you do have Rich here, and you got Leah here, so it can't be all that bad. So what happened after Kevin?
Well, I did a 23-hour trip straight through from Kevin to Montana to a family in Montana, Ann and Jeremy Hughes.
Ooh, boy, what was the experience like going from Kevin to Ann Hughes?
It was much different. It was actually one of two people where I didn't actually go to their home,
So this is supposed to be a family tour of those who are part of God's family. And of all the people you met, there's only two that didn't invite you into their home. Is that correct?
Yes.
And one was Ann H. And the other one was?
Beth.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The two that have just gone ballistic and are spewing vomit everywhere, pretending that they're right. And they're just amazing. They're the only two out of everybody I met that said, nope, you're not coming to my home.
And I'd really never thought about it at the time, But as I look back, I'm like, I never went to their homes,
Wow.
And that's just,
You've also shared that, and particularly this woman that is threatening our good friend, Dr. Jeff, trying to blackmail Dr. Jeff, which is really, and even trying to blackmail him through his daughter, threatening his daughter. Really nasty kind of stuff. She was. Would you tell me what your response? Because this morning we were having breakfast together, and you volunteered something that you said maybe this is not the brightest, the sharpest implement in the chest.
Well, legalism, just theology, just kind of religious.
Yeah, confused religious. Yeah. Came out of a Hebrew roots cult and never really left it.
Right. And so I okay.
Yeah, so that was one of a couple of people that still had a lot of religiosity, which means you can't be covenant. If you're still influenced by religion, and in her case, the religion would have been a blend between Messianic Christianity and Rabbinic Judaism.
Right.
That would be the Hebrew roots.
You never walked away.
So you never walked away. Yeah. You can't. If you don't walk away, you can't walk into Yahowah's family. All right. So you then had a chance to meet some others while you're out in California. Did you meet my good buddy Captain Kirk?
I did. Wookie, hey Wook. Yeah, I want to tell you about the next person I saw first.
Okay, please.
I went from Montana to Washington, right outside of Seattle, a place called Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
Met with Lee Templar,
mm-hmm.
and I pull up and I meet Lee, and I'm giving him some cards
mm-hmm.
and some of my mom's crabapple jelly recipe and some hot, Scott's barbecue sauce. I give this to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from North Carolina only,
mm-hmm.
vinegar-based barbecue sauce. And Lee's like, well, where do you think you're going? He says, I've already rented you a cabin for 2 days. And he says, we're skydiving tomorrow.
Whoa.
And I've looked at him and I'm like, I'm scared of heights. And he started laughing. Kevin called him and put him up to that. And so they kind of set me up. And so
Kevin is a rascal. I take back every nice thing I said about him.
But it was just a great time. And then from there to Noah.
So he was genuine.
Oh, Lee's just awesome. We watched live shows while I was there, and he just took care of me. Lee, he took me to Mount Rainier, and we had a blast. We saw this yellow sign on the tree as we were going up, and it had waffle on a stick.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget who said it. It says, no dead waffle on a stick. and we were laughing so hard. We went up
because this means it's our line of dead God on a stick is the symbol of Christianity, which is just so appalling. But I like that. No waffle on the stick.
We actually took pictures at Mount Rainier, and as we came down, we stopped at that sign and had our pictures.
Okay.
Both of us with the waffle on a stick. But Lee's just a super great guy. And then I went and met Noah. In Oregon.
Yes.
And just beautiful family.
Yes.
Lilani and Wyatt. And I got some wine from him. It's like 4 bottles. And they have
He's a vineyard. I mean, he has his own vineyard, and his labels actually cite translations from Yahowah.
Yes.
He is such a giving, caring, supportive man, and he has actually now become really supportive of what we're doing. He is engaged. He's rock solid. I have a huge appreciation.
Love knowing his family.
There's a guy that started off. I think it was because of Kirk was his mentor in this growth, and that's how I came to know him, was really through Kirk. And boy, has he ever taken off recently. I mean, he got the message that the covenant was for contributors. Yahowah likes work. He likes men who are men and who are willing to get their hands dirty and dig in. And he's one of those guys. Both Lee and Noah both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
From there, I
So,
went.
boy, you're really you've done a nice rebound since the end.
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's nice.
And then next was Matt
Oh my goodness.
in Sacramento, and
And I just can't imagine the experience, because I mean you're all kind of old country boy, right? And Matt is got his hair a little longer, and he was a drug addict. I mean, he was strung out on drugs, and you guys would have been the antithesis of one another. But I want to tell you, I read every post that is put on the Facebook site and everyone that responds to me on X. That man is sharp.
yes, he is.
He knows Yahowah well. He is articulate. He is one of the best to judge a post and to say what is right and wrong with that post. He is just, wow. When you consider where he has come from and where he has grown to.
You know what it tells you? He wanted it.
He did.
He wanted it.
He wanted it.
And
it's paying volumes. He now has a genuine purpose in his life, and it's amazing to see him grow.
Yes.
So I happen to be a huge fan of Matt. I'm trying to encourage him, because I appreciate many of the posts that he makes are really intellectually stimulating.
Yes, it is.
That is a testament that it doesn't matter where you are in life.
Yes.
If you've got the right attitude, you got the want to.
Mm-hmm.
God can transform your life, and He has that young man's.
We
So
had a real.
so my guess is that initially he would have been a little bit gun shy, not because of you, because he's really a solid character, but he's taking care of his mother, and she is not all necessarily supportive of all of this, and he's living with all those cats. So him bringing you to the house would have been something that would have been perhaps uncomfortable for the grandmother and mother, and he doesn't want to do that. But how did that all work out?
I think it worked out wonderfully.
Yeah.
Because
you went to meeting her, didn't you?
And Matt didn't know me.
Yeah.
And so we talked, and of course, and I think it's his grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And she came to the door, and she was like, because the sun was out, and she's like, "You need to get your head under that umbrella." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yes, ma'am.
And so I put my head up under the. Then she came back. "Here's some water. You need some water." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And so got the water. And before I got ready to leave, I went in to use the bathroom, and I spoke with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just a sweet little lady. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I charmed her a little bit before I left, and I think Matt appreciated that, and I think it went.
He did.
It went really well.
Yes.
And I'm not out here trying to convert everybody.
No.
I'm just.
Sometimes the only thing you can really do is just be nice to people. Show the comfort and the confidence that you have in knowing, the joy you have in knowing.
Yes.
And sometimes it'll take root and grow, and other times it won't.
Right.
And so there was no reason ever to sit there. Let's have a conversation about Yahowah. If she brings it up, you're prepared to do so. If she doesn't bring it up, then all you can do is reinforce that you had a lovely conversation with Matt, and that you think the world of him, and that'll at least plant the seed.
And that's the purpose of these shirts, Craig, is I'm talking to everybody I see without saying a word.
Yes, you are.
And if someone asks me a question about my shirt, then they have opened that door up. And then I'm willing to go through that door and explain, as long as they're willing to listen. But yeah, that's, from there I went to Moriah.
Oh yes.
And
she was the one that scolded old Rich here. Rich and I wouldn't have been together without Moriah. Moriah, though, was a beneficiary of you, because you gave her the gift of the Facebook account because for some reason the X account, because X would not accept my application or hers to be a certified account. There was no way we could get the certification. but Rich gifted it
Yes.
to her.
I hit your one and only donate button.
Yes, and did the same thing for me. But she is among the women we've come to know. She is probably the most knowledgeable, and among the most intelligent, and the most supportive.
Yep.
She is. She's Yahowah's type as it comes to women.
Looking forward to hanging out with her in the forever.
In the forever, yeah. So you and she in particular still very close, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have a good relationship with Mariah.
Oh yeah, I pulled up. I remember pulling up.
Your eyes even light up when you talk about her.
Yeah, she gave me the big hug out the gate,
Yeah.
and then invited me into her home, and her husband cooked chicken on the grill. He even, I was actually telling Rich earlier, his name's Russell, and he's not covenant, but that's okay. And me and Mariah, we talked, and he was cooking, and then he come and got me. He said, Shannon, let me show you something. So Russell carried me to this little room, and it has these little, I guess for like if you're playing a guitar, it holds the sound in the room, acoustics or whatever it's called. But he sat there and turned his computer on and got his guitar out and played me the songs. And it was just really awesome. Great guy.
Wow.
Great guy.
You can imagine a guy like that being that supportive of his wife's journey.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Yes, it was really nice.
So you had a great conversation with Mariah, and her husband was very kind.
And they had a spare room. I slept that night. And
wow. Okay.
Got up next morning, headed to Carmel.
Okay. Carmel.
Yes.
I know some people that live in Carmel. My good friend, one of my closest, dearest, most wonderful friends. Unfortunately, he and Sylvia are both struggling health-wise. At this point, I think it's fair to say that because I've talked about it so often now that my good buddy Kirk has had a biopsy yesterday. It was a tough procedure. We'll know in a couple of days the results of it, and all the while, his love of his life, his beloved wife Sylvia, is having these migraines that cause a dizzying effect. She's one of my very favorite women because she has attitude. And Kirk has been my co-host of these programs for years because he is such a excellent student of the Towrah and just a genuinely nice man. I mean, he has character.
I couldn't have put it better.
He really has character.
Yes.
So anyway, I prejudiced your whole story about Kirk. I'm sorry, but
No,
when you just mention Kirk, I have the tendency to want to glow because I love Kirk, and I love the fact that Kirk and Sylvia are together. I think they are a joy, and we're hoping both of them are get healthy soon.
I miss meeting Sylvia because I believe she was going through those migraines when I was there, and but Kirk was just so homey. Showed me everything. Showed me his studio, her studio.
She was his student.
Yes, and just a wonderful visit. He showed me some of the old books, and then he showed me what he did on his computer. Of course, Kevin did too, and I'm like, it's all over my head. And so, but I entertained watching them. But I'm not a tech guy.
I'm amazing that Kirk could turn on the computer actually because he's more analog than I am. That's progress right there for sure.
Yeah, but super great guy.
He is a super great guy. And he's loved, and he's in the middle of art world. He's a great artist.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Just their home is just full of art. It's just beautiful.
Sylvia says, my husband is well hung in my home. So we had a wonderful conversation with a wonderful man. You had to, so now you're like great guy, a great woman, great guy. You are on a roll, man. You are saying this hanging out with Yahowah's family forever. This is going to be good stuff. These are really, really good people.
It's been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
It's just,
okay, so you were in Carmel. Where'd you go after that?
I went to a place called Solvang.
Oh, Solvang.
Yes.
I know. I happen to have a lot of memories of Solvang. I used to go there probably 4 times a year.
Very cute community.
Really cute community, and there's some nice wineries there and some good eateries and some nice stores to shop. And yeah, I liked Solvang, and I liked the whole valley around it. And I used to go to the al-aqsa, which was a guest ranch back in the day, golf course, horseback riding, fly fishing, that kind of thing.
Right.
Real rustic and rural, but so I just have wonderful memories growing up,
Yes.
and even as an adult in and out of Solvang. But of course, then you would have been exposed to the person who has gone all crazy on us.
Yes, I met with them at a restaurant, and it was
very different than Mariah and Kirk or Noah or
very, very different. Yes, and I'm not looking to bash, you know what I mean. But I felt religion, and probably caps it off just by saying that right there. So I know they asked me about in Leviticus about some of the laws and what you eat and all, and I look at it as fatherly advice. I asked him, I said, do you think if you were to eat that, you're not covenant? And they said, well, yeah, if you do that, you're not covenant. And I'm like,
where does it say that?
Whew.
They couldn't point out where it says that, could they?
No, but I was like,
anyway, they couldn't deal with the fact that in Devarim, Yahweh inspired Moshe to tell us, actually it's Yahweh speaking through Moshe's lips, to say that you can eat anything you want, just do so thoughtfully.
Right. Fatherly advice.
Yeah. So to make a religion of food and to predicate one's relationship with God on dietary laws is to be exceedingly religious and exceedingly wrong. All right. But so be it. All right. So what happened after that? Because there's another fellow that's not too far away from all of that.
Yes, I went from there to Phoenix, Arizona.
One of my very, very favorite people in the entire world, who, by the way, is being blackmailed and harassed by Miss Religious. I mean, terribly blackmailed and harassed.
I hate to hear that.
Harassing his daughter, threatening him, threatening to blackmail him. It's just hideously ugly. So when I speak, and I don't sound like I'm very kind to the religiosity of that woman, she is threatening to blackmail my very, very good friend, and projecting her faults all over him. That does not set well with me. No. So anyway, you met Dr. Jeff. What did you think of Dr. Jeff?
Dr. Jeff. He's just, I felt like I was in the doctor's office because I had a little bit of sniffle, and he said, "What's going on with your nose?" And he said, "It could be sinusitis." And then I coughed a little bit, and he's, "Okay, why do you smoke?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "How many do you smoke a day?" And I told him, and then he gave me these grass-fed beef, food out of his refrigerator, some healthy stuff and healthy snacks and healthy water, and he's just fixing me up. And super great guy.
Jeff is more than just a physician that knows how to perform emergency medical procedures, particularly pulmonary related. He is a holistic doctor in the sense of he has studied the human body and its response to various kinds of foods and nutrients, and what it responds favorably to and unfavorably to. And he has some really interesting teachings. We should probably share them someday. But he is a big fan of the Yahweh diet. You ought to be a carnivore. God says we're going to offer the lamb, the bull, the goat. These are things that are good for you to eat.
Right.
He will talk about what it does for your body, for your brain, for your overall health. He is really an expert on the nutritional value of things. So I'm not surprised that he did that, because he's going to look at you as your family, and he wants to care for you. Every conversation I have with him, or Leah has with him, he always finds a way to work in some advice to keep us healthy.
Yes, excellent advice.
Yes.
Excellent advice.
Knows you were pretty well.
Yes.
Genuine?
Very.
Yeah.
Just solid guy. Solid family.
Yeah.
I consider him family.
Yeah. Yeah, me as well.
Everybody just.
Yeah, he's the kind. He is such good family that I'd lay down my life for that guy in a heartbeat.
Yeah, just super
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, super.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the end of your tour.
No, I actually went to a place called Roswell, New Mexico.
Mm.
And,
yes.
And
ground zero for all sorts of conspiracy theories on alien invasions. I've been there. It's a pretty backward place. It's not exactly the prettiest place in America, but nonetheless.
Yeah, it was really cool because I met with Ron and Judy Purcelli, and they invited me in their home, and me and him went to Sam's. We drove through the downtown. There's all these Martian shops.
Oh yeah, and the Martian Museum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The aliens of Roswell. They make a whole tourist thing out of the supposed aliens.
Yeah. And so it was.
The topography is actually pretty. It's just that it's kind of it's kind of weird in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting. Out of all the places I could go, to a place I'd heard of, Roswell.
Yes.
And it's
right.
What it speaks about when you think of Martians and Area 51, when you hear,
of course,
But we went and they made me enchiladas. They were awesome.
Come into our home. We'll make food together.
Made food together. I slept there that night, and it was just another great visit.
Family.
Yeah, family. Yeah, just super people. Just great. And I left there, and I actually went and see my daughter for a few days there in Waco, and then Waco. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I've spent more time in Waco than I can. I will never forget. My youngest son got his PhD in medicinal chemistry from Baylor. And there were many moments of that did not go well. And so I was constantly in Waco as his advocate.
Okay.
And so, I know Waco, Texas. I've been in Waco where it was 110 degrees at 10 o'clock at night. And I've been at Waco at football games where I did not want to have to stand at attention and put my hand over my heart as they had the opening prayer and the national anthem, where I would try to sneak out before those things, so I would be in a concession area, not have to do that,
right? And
had to be assaulted for sneaking out, because that was not acceptable in the religiosity of Texas, right. Where it's they don't ask you if you go to church, they ask you what church you go to,
right?
It's guns, church, and football. Yep. So I understand there's, I saw that there's some places that are decent and nice about Waco. The Baylor campus is beautiful, for example. That's a tough place to live.
Yes.
So your daughter lives in Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
My condolences.
But she's since got married.
Okay.
And they're moved to Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
And they found them a place there. So she's.
Oh, so she's out of Waco.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of Waco.
Congratulations. Now. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I left from there and went up above Dallas. What's the name of that town that JB and Patricia live in?
Plano, was that? No, there's Fort Worth, Plano, but a bunch of towns around.
Right above. I can't think of the name. I had a hard time. Cato Mills.
Okay.
Cato Mills. And met with them.
With JB.
With JB.
Oh,
and Patricia cooked me an awesome meal. Visited with them.
With Dalen, their daughter.
Dalen was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
JB is a rare find. And by the way, if I'm not waxing poetic about some of the people that you've met, it's just because we haven't spent a lot of time together, so I don't know them as well as others. It's not a slight on anybody.
Exactly.
It's just that they're, like JB, I did all of those co-hosting shows with him for many years. And then he and I would exchange emails because he was one of the people that was really good about, if he was translating something and didn't see what I saw, he'd write and say, "How did you get here?" And and occasionally we would disagree. And when we disagree, rather than saying that I think he's wrong, what I would say instead is, I think he makes a very good point. Here is his logic. Here is my logic. I'm not trying to encourage you to go one way or the other, because he has a very thoughtful presentation of this. My understanding is like this, his is like that, and I think both have merit, and we shouldn't be dogmatic. We should learn everything we can from these insights. But the thing also I liked about JB is that he was one of those who had been an agnostic and came to recognize the value of somebody who was willing to say, "I'm wrong. I think there's a better way to convey this. And here's what I think is a more accurate answer." And it's so rare that somebody would do that. And it resonated with him and gave him a sense of real confidence. So I love JB.
Super.
Yeah.
It's just genuine, super good family.
Yeah. And intellectually brilliant.
Yes.
And knows Yahowah, not only from the books, but his own translations.
Yes. Smart guy.
Yes. Oh, so I'm delighted that you got to see JB.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I looked on the screen, like on the Shabbat Family Hour, I'm like, well, I met him. I met him. I just haven't met
all those
Craig and Rich.
Yeah, you met all those characters.
Yeah. So it was really neat to, see because I consider.
And here you are in the chair.
Yeah, it's all family. To me, this is family.
Yeah.
I'm visiting family.
It is our family.
And what I call my forever family.
Yeah, correct.
And so, and from there I come back and took a break.
Yes.
And then my next journey would have been northeast. And so.
And there is yesterday you went out of your way to address a father and son that, of all the people you met along the way, left one of the most dramatic impressions on you. Because of the father and son. And maybe it heralds back to you being a dad with a son and seeing a son that was so brilliant and a father that was so close in their tie-in with Yahowah, that there was a father and son that got your attention along the way.
Yes. And we met at a restaurant, and of course it had nothing to do with anything other than, I know the mother and wife is not covenant, and I think is not, and is against it.
And it's against it.
Okay.
Right.
And so we met at a restaurant, and William and Jake, and Jake, and he kind of reminds me of my son, kind of tall, slinky, because my son was just a little pencil. But he smiled. I'm sitting there looking at him. He's across, and he's just smiling, he's brighting. It's just shot. The whole room's lit up from his smile, from my perspective. It's beautiful relationship, father, son, Yahowah. And he just glowed, And I think it could be me thinking of my son too.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
And, but it was
and celebrating
beautiful.
that's a positive thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
He made me cry today. Jake did. Jake produced a song. I posted it on our site that takes the translation of the 22nd Mizmor, where it is Dode expressing enduring crucifixion to fulfill Passover as the Passover lamb, and he set that story to music with a marvelous voiceover. And it is. If you can listen to it and not cry, then you're a tougher guy than me, because it got to me to hear our King speak of what he endured and the way that was presented. So if you haven't heard it, I would encourage you to listen to it. It was interesting that you shared that about.
I will.
So we came together because my wife has she grew up the 17 years prior to me knowing her was with a Shorkie, looking a little like Wookie, same breed, and this dog and she were just inseparable. And so she wanted to do what is nigh on impossible. She wanted to acquire another Shorkie and to see if that Shorkie would be similar to her Gucci. Gucci was named because she chewed on a pair of Gucci shoes. So she sees this dog in East Texas, and we had a friend that flew in from East Texas with Wookie, and Wookie gets along marvelously with Leah. Wookie is kind of a guy's guy. Mm-hmm. And so he likes to hang with the guys. Like here he is in this room. We got 3 guys. Wookie's sitting there in his throne, as content as he can be with the guys. And so Wookie will spend more time around me than was Leah. And so she says, I really wanted a dog that I relate to like I did before. And so she said, okay, we know we can't have another boy with Wookie because Wookie wouldn't tolerate that. So she decided she was going to find a girl version of Wookie. And she did. It's Kara. And Kara came from Arkansas, if you will. And there's no way to get her here, and so Leah was going to just fly to Florida, have the dog brought to the hotel in Fort Lauderdale. And then she said, oh, what the heck, we have a family here. I'll just ask and see if there's anybody that might be interested in bringing Kara to us. And it probably was 30 seconds, and you said, I'll do it. All right?
Yes.
At the time, did you know how much work puppies were?
I forgot.
Oh, we forgot. Okay.
Yes.
So this was quite a deal because Kara is a bundle, isn't she?
Very much so.
She is a wiggler. She is a goer. In fact, she's more aggressive than Wookie.
Yes.
Yeah, she'll chew on your fingers, bite your ears, nip at your nose. She is all go. She is sleeping right now. Oh my God. So Leah just walked in. So they had the next day, Kara was delivered after you volunteered. Yes. Kara was delivered, and you've been hanging out on an air mattress because Kara doesn't do alone very well.
For the last 8 days.
Yeah, last 8 days. And we've been counting down the days because we wanted to meet both you and Kara. So you arrived at about 5 o'clock last night.
I've been counting down the days too, so that I could deliver to her.
Yeah, not only so you could come here, but also so you could get a full night's sleep.
Right.
So here we are, and we'll do a future show where we get to show off Kara. Kara right now is napping. Yes. So this is a very good thing. Yes. And we're going to let that happen and
enjoy this time.
Yes, so we'll enjoy this. We'll enjoy this moment. And so we had the first chance really to get to know each other and chat last night, and throughout today, you've kind of seen what our life is like here, which is that we live for a single purpose.
Yes,
our life is exceedingly simple.
Greatest
we get
mission
up
on earth
in the morning
right
and we go all day for a singular cause.
Yes.
And that is to share what we've come to know about Yahowah. We're thrilled to do it. And it is a great honor and distinction to be in this family and to share what we know. And we are living here in this lovely paradise. As you saw, this is our GAN. Mm-hmm. Yahowah As he said, when I was wanting to pass on having to go back and update Prophet of Doom as goddamn religion, and I said, I'd rather not have to do that. What I got in response is, I've taken care of you, and now you take care of my people. And you look around here and you'd see this is really a lovely place.
Yes.
Yeah. My guess is we are, and this is exactly as you would have thought.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. And you get to see Rich while we're here too.
Meet Rich.
Just a bonus.
And just as the special bonus, Rich. Anyway, we're gonna. Yeah. We will do another show when we return to the text that we were reading, Yahowah, the 4th chapter, as he presents more information about the intent and purpose of Sukah. And we will return to that. But there really is nothing about Sukah that isn't encapsulated with family coming together.
And it's a wonderful time for me to be here.
Yes. In the midst of Sukah.
Yes.
So I thank you for letting me interview you as part of this celebration of Sukah. Thank you for bringing little Kara to Leah and being here with us in our home and celebrating our relationship with Yahowah together. Thank you all for being part of this program. We will speak to you later this afternoon. We hope to do another fire show. Because Sukah is one of those days that we're asked to walk in toward the fiery light of Yahowah so that we are transformed. Thank you again. May Yahowah bless. Good day.